Thanks for tuning in to Prism Productions Colorado on another episode of Behind the Get Down. We have Maggie here, also known as Magnetik Moon, up-and-coming producer and DJ known for her dark tribal drum and bass break style, as well as a performing artist teaching various dance classes like hip-hop and belly dancing that you can find online, and has been involved in a lot of different projects, a lot of different groups such as Darshan. Has released music with Qvent, Angry Neighbors, High Voltage Collective, more recently Subsidy. She actually won the Black Box DJ competition. That was last spring, right?
It was.
There you go. Yeah, congratulations on that one. And she has her own dance performing arts tribe known as the Goldust tribe. So all in all, just a wonderful human being in general. So Maggie, I'm really happy to have you onto the show today.
Thank you, Daniel, so much for having me.
Absolutely. How are you feeling through all this craziness going on right now?
You know, I feel pretty good. I've stayed, just floating along, following the flow. Of course, my heart weighs and goes out to those that are directly affected by this pandemic, and we are all affected by it. And that's what's so wild about it, is everyone is going through the pandemic in some way. I've chosen to really just dive in further into the creative arts. And, now that I have a little bit more time to do that, my job I've been furloughed from. So just able to dive in more to that, more into the dance, more into the music, and still bringing the community together, even from an online presence.
That's great. Yeah. It's been such a terrible time, especially with everybody getting furloughed, a lot of people losing jobs and just kind of losing that hope a little bit, the social distancing, getting people a little bit stir crazy. But, I like to think of these times as a great opportunity, and it looks like you've been using that opportunity in a very positive manner, sharing that with other people as well, too. For us to kind of look creatively in ourselves, kind of finding that, thing inside of us that really makes us happy, makes us passionate, and really trying to pursue that and, see what you can make of it. So I think it's wonderful that you're spending the time to educate people with the dancing. You've been doing the live streams as well with the music, which is also really great, especially this time where, people are getting so stir crazy. I saw you a couple of weeks ago, actually, when you did the Lysergia Collective stream, and it was just a lot of fun, just hanging out at home, doing live streaming with other friends. It's kind of like a weird virtual music festival, so... one thing, my heart goes out to all the frontline workers right now, all the essential workers that are working through all of this pandemic, hoping that you guys are safe out there. And I appreciate what you're doing for the scene as well, Maggie, just providing some opportunity for people to use this idle time valuably and try to find maybe a little bit of passion inside of themselves. So
yes. I mean, finding what drives you, now that you have a little bit more time with yourself, to think about those things and just living in that present moment, what makes you happy right now, and don't get so bogged down about what's to come, or what's behind us, but where we are right now and what we can continue to do right now, and, healing from within and continuing to heal with one another. I certainly dive big into, herbs and herbal remedies, and we have a beautiful little apothecary down the street. So I've been hustling up on different cheap and taking them to friends and just trying to keep everyone in the community healthy and
that's awesome.
Keep our immune systems going, and just remembering to also relax and treat our bodies well, have that massage, have that stretch, have that hot steamy bath, have that tea, the essential oil blends. And so I've actually had some time to dive into those things as well, just making my own blends and getting into skincare and stuff too.
That's awesome. Like I said before, just all this free time, it really helps you like dive in and do all the things that you really wouldn't have a lot of time to do.
Yeah, I still feel really busy. I probably feel busier now, just with creating an online presence. It's a little more time consuming. Even as a DJ and producer, tech savvy stuff is a challenge. There are so many different ways to route so many different things, and then just wanting that best quality to come out of the music and the visuals, and the sound.
Yeah, especially whenever you're working with multiple people, when somebody else is doing the visuals for you and just kind of like, I always wonder, I'm sure there's some kind of like technical things that's really hard to dive into that aspect of it, that I haven't quite wrapped my head around yet. But, it's really awesome that people are figuring it out and providing this for everybody. So, again, we thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm living for these live streams myself. I mean, they are keeping me so inspired. Uh,
Seriously.
Literally, there's so many good ones that are out right now, and Twitch has blown up from it. Zoom has blown up for the live dance classes and meetings. Um, but yeah, it's kind of pushing things, that we adapt and that, we sustain and, move forward in our arts and still finding that way to get the art out there to people. So I am living for these live streams and just working on getting more stuff together with the green screen and getting some visuals laid in too.
Yeah, just getting the whole, package, getting ready for everybody to, kind of make it feel like that real experience at a show.
Yes, you want them to feel like they're there. That's what we want, is still to be able to generate that full experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Out of the mind, out of the house.
Yeah, true, true.
Well, in this series, I like to just kind of talk with people, in the scene, especially the local scene, just kind of where your come up was, how you turned the passion into the dream and, kind of where it take you to here. So I feel like dancing is probably a good place to start because, I mean, we all started dancing, before we could probably even remember. So, what's kind of that first experience with dancing that you remember that really got you excited about it? And, when was that time that that passion grew so much that you wanted to do something with it?
So with dance, I was in dance classes since the age of 3, and I have a pretty vivid memory of the age of 3 and all the way through. Starting with ballet, getting into tap. Tap was so fun because it was loud and you could make beats with your feet, and so really finding that rhythmic side through dance, and then later into jazz. And jazz was a little bit more funky, a little bit more loose, whereas ballet was a little more strict and controlled. Ballet certainly gives you the roots and the foundation of a lot of movement and just how to hold that balance and that structure and that physique. And then finding those funkier styles to really just let loose in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was around so many other friends and kids in school that were in classes or just loved to freestyle. And so we'd always get together and making up dances and performing them. And the passion really became big in middle school, and getting on, competition teams and traveling and,
That's
not really
awesome.
understanding what the tribal sense was then. But yes, those girls were my tribe, and I still am friends with a lot of them. And a lot of them have still continued with dance and movement. So yeah, it certainly made an impact in my life at a young age, and I kept through all the way through high school and got into cheerleading and still incorporated more dance into that element as well. But I always liked that sense of a team, and coming up together. And
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's really kind of the, one of the root kind of ideas behind Prism too is that we just want to be the focal point for other people to shine their light and color the world. So, I don't believe that I can do the most amazing things by myself. It definitely takes a big team of talented, wonderful individuals that are willing to work together to make dreams happen. So
yes,
I really love to hear that. You're from the South, correct?
yes, I am. I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I was
Beautiful.
born in Pennsylvania in Oakmont, moved to Myrtle Beach at a young age of 3. Always visited up north, and so it was cool to find, have that balance of the north
Mm-hmm.
and the south. But growing up at the beach was beautiful. And then landed in Atlanta for 11 years,
Oh,
where I
wow.
definitely grew a lot in the creative arts there and was just craving that culture and craving that city life. And I ran that city wild for 11 years. So
Yeah, I
it will
was.
last.
Yeah, and that's what I was gonna mention is, in the South, dancing is really huge, especially in the clubs. You got a lot of people, the dance crews and people really doing a lot of amazing things and taking a lot of time to perfect their skills and, all
Yeah.
the breaking and, just
Yeah.
everything in general. It's like a whole different world for dancing out there.
Yeah, it was amazing being pulled into that, and I was pulled in right at the height of the rave scene. So the
Oh, it's
rave
beautiful.
movement, I mean, what a culture and an entire lifestyle. I definitely am a raver for life. I mean, it is a lifestyle, and just craving those beats on the dance floor, craving that circle when everyone's just throwing down together and everyone's just letting loose and there's never any judgment, and just moving your body and moving that energy through. The rave style really opened me up into becoming a freestyle dancer, whereas I was a trained competitive dancer my whole life. And then watching people just get out there and freestyle was blowing my mind. So, getting into the rave scene and seeing that, which led into the break scene in Atlanta. So, all the break dance crews, and really linked up with a lot of them and practicing with them and just throwing down in a little rehearsal space. My best friend now, and she was a B girl, and I was the trained dancer. So we would get together and throw, moves back and forth, and just really just making that well-rounded, diverse dancer. I loved the thrill of that, that just being on the outside of the circle and just wanting to get in it so bad. And that took a while for some confidence to build to do that, because you might get in someone's circle that would literally sweep you off the floor if you didn't gain the respect to be in it. So, the break scene was amazing, and what that added into the hip hop style that I teach. Really coming from that street style, learning from people in the Bronx, and bringing that down into the South, and then crews battling on crews. Just endless routines, just going, back and forth, and it just kept everything so fresh. It did.
Absolutely. And what you mentioned about the rave scene and seeing the freestyle and kind of opening yourself up to maybe exploring other options for dancing, I really resonate to that a lot because I personally was never much of a dancer until I started raving, about 10 years ago. I caught like the latter half of before it got really blown up and big and everybody started doing it all the time. But I didn't like to, move a lot at all at first because I was just so embarrassed because I didn't really know what to do. But then you just start to realize, like, you just do whatever you want. Like, just do
Yeah.
whatever makes you happy,
Yeah.
and especially with the freestyle. I've never taken any kind of professional dancing, but I've gotten really a lot into the freestyle aspect of it just because it's also kind of just like pushing myself to, like, don't do the same kind of dance over and over again, change it up, try something different, stick out, have people talk to you, I always find that aspect really fun, whenever people come up to me or like, you're doing a really good job at dancing, that's like some of the moments I live for when I go to shows, it's just like, that's so
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you.
Yes, that improvisation and just being in that flow. In high school, I was introduced to modern dance and to contemporary dance. So that was a moment where we had to just be able to move and flow. And so that some years after that, when the rave style started, I at least had that little bit of a sense of like just how to kind of expand and release your
Right.
body and contract and move. And we had like the Catawba Indian tribe that came in, and they would do live drumming and play didgeridoos, and we would just freestyle. So there, all of those elements brought together. And then in the rave scene, it was like you found your tribe, you
Right.
found a safe space where you could be you. And I have loved watching it evolve over the years. And I mean, musically, that's where I've always been inspired from, is just those beats, those bassy beats that keep you driven to the dance floor. And then just having everyone have that freestyle. I mean, look at the flow arts now. It is like
Absolutely.
it's raving times 10. I mean, now it's not just glow sticks, it's so many things. And I'm so into all of it, into the gloving, into the tutting, into the poi, fire spinning, hooping. I love it, and I can't get enough of it. And Colorado has been just mind blowing.
Yeah, especially with the flow. I feel like a lot of people are very interested in it out here, and you find a lot of creative different kinds of variations, like the gyroscopic hoop, or the dragon staffs, and just a lot of really cool creative things. And that's also another value system with Prism Productions, is kind of like, we want to help you be able to find that flow, create that space for you to try some new things, try something that you may not have wanted to try before, maybe didn't have the opportunity or the money to really invest in giving it a go. But I feel like finding flow is really important, because I feel like it's a very meditative thing, and it's a really self-healing thing.
Yes. I mean, being in that flow state, literally when I moved from Atlanta to here almost 4 years ago, um, finding poi and hooping there, and then coming out here and just seeing, all the flow gatherings, it was mind blowing. And to watch people be in that flow state of literally balancing and just finding different dimensions and angles within things. And a lot of people, yes, that is certainly their healing, being in that flow state, no matter what it is to you. If it's cooking, if it's gardening, if it's doing yoga, if it's dancing, if it's flowing, finding that flow state where you can move your body.
Absolutely. And I feel like it really helps you kind of put things into perspective, and it helps you clear your mind to kind of have a better focus on things. And oftentimes it's good exercise as well too, and it looks
Yes,
pretty cool for the most part too.
it's all the things. It's all the things. It's great.
Absolutely. That's really awesome. So you have quite a bit of experience with dancing. I mean, you've been arguably taught by some of the best types of dancers. You got people from the Bronx teaching you how to dance, Atlanta dancers, very both popular dance styles, break beats, ballet, tap. I mean, you're just a very well-rounded dancer, just obviously someone who's very into movement, into rhythm, getting the body moving. So I could understand why you would want to take that passion to teaching, especially with that aspect of you, being in a tribe and liking that team aspect and watching everybody come up. When did you kind of figure that for yourself and decided, hey, I think I want to start a dance group, or I want to start teaching people how to dance and kind of taking them up to my level so we can move together?
So in Atlanta, I helped manage and open two amazing dance studios there, Dance 101. There's two locations there in the city and a little north of the city. So there I was able to really dive into the teaching aspect of it, and teaching hip hop, teaching tap, teaching jazz, teaching modern. And then I started taking a lot of classes in turn, because I was living the studio life every day. And so I found my teacher, Erin Richardson, who's trained in the American tribal style and serpentine styles, tribal fusion. Started taking her classes. And then when she was out injured for a while, I was subbing her classes and really got into it. And I went full force. I was taking 3 classes a week for a couple years. Moved out here and, furthered the training. There's some online courses to be taken from a lot of different teachers as well, and some that I still follow a lot and take from them at Tribal Massive in Vegas. But yeah, I was able to dive right in and belly dance, that tribal fusion, that conglomeration of all these styles that I have started to come out into that, and just working on choreography so much, and bringing in a tribe of women that really wanted to learn that style. Started teaching in Boulder 3.5 years ago, and now have several studios that I teach at, now getting my online classes going. But yeah, it's just, I always have felt like the path is right in front of you, and it starts to unfold, and it's just illuminated with exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So when it starts coming in with, hey, I want to learn this, I want to learn this, teach this, and then it just started. And I have an amazing group of women here that take classes, and now I'm able to expand that even more into the world, just with the online presence. But yeah, Boulder is really where it started for me to get Goldust tribe forming, and having that performance opportunities for us as a tribe, and to get some women in there that have never moved their body like that. Some women were raised to not move their body like that. I mean, when belly dancing started, when it got more Americanized, it was at a time when pantyhose were considered different. So much less to
Wow.
show the stomach. So just that empowering movement that makes you feel so good, and wanting women to feel that sexuality, and feeling that boost in self-esteem and self-confidence. Yeah, it's brought in a really cool group.
Absolutely, and I bet there's a lot of sisterhood, involved with that too. Having that intimate kind of energy with multiple women. I'm sure that really builds into like a really huge feministic kind of like energy that you guys can really channel, and then mixing with the flow aspect of it. It's I could see that being something where it's like nothing can stop us kind of thing.
Yeah, it is a ritual. And that's what it's become. Is that is our time to let the troubles go. To breathe in the things that we want more of, and to breathe in that positivity, and to release the things that aren't serving our bodies, and to have that ritual time together, holding space for one another in a non-judgment zone, for everyone to share that breath together, and share that sacred movement together.
That's really awesome. And I'm sure a lot of it too. You're not just teaching. I'm sure you learn a lot from your students as well too.
Absolutely, you do. And I mean, just teaching along the way just perfects the technical part of it, as well as I'm breaking things down. I'm learning more about it. So I'm definitely giving myself a class as well as giving them the class. And yeah, we learn so much from one another. It's never just by coincidence who lands into the class, or who is put into my path, or me into their path. It's always with significance that we reach each other. And I've met amazing massage therapists and fire spinners and other dance styles, and it just brings everybody together, and then we're all able to learn from one another.
Absolutely. And I feel like, when you have that passion, when you have that dream and you're vocal about it, you put it to the world, you know, you express like your dream, and that the fact that you want to attain these things. I feel like that's when those doors start opening and the path is just kind of lit in front of you, and everything just starts falling into place. I mean, I remember when I first started talking about Prism Productions, it was just, me being at festivals like, oh yeah, I can't wait to come up. Like once I get my lasers, like it's on, like it's gonna be game over, and
Yeah.
I firmly believed in it, and I had a really big dream and goal about it, and I really thought it through a lot and spent a lot of time thinking about it, and it just everything just kind of falls into place, and I started meeting the right people at the right times, and been able to do a lot of really cool things, able to have this interview with you,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be possible if I didn't have that initial dream at first. So
Yeah.
it sounds like a lot of what you went through too. You just kept dancing, you never stopped, you loved it, it was your passion, you never gave up on it, and
Yeah.
look at you now. You have a dance stride, you do a lot of dance instructing, going out to Vegas. I know that you've done dancing with the Darshan tribe as well too, which are a really famous dance group as well too. So
Yeah, I love to do stuff with them. And Katie also has an amazing band, the Quantum Beings of the Miraculous. So,
oh,
she's invited Goldust to do some things with Darshan. So we really are sister tribes here, and I love that. I have not felt any type of competition, competitiveness here at all. It is just everyone helping one another, supporting each other, and lifting one another up to build this community that we want and that we aspire to have. And like you were saying, being specific about the dreams, the power of intention is real. Putting that out there, putting those words out there, writing them, saying them, having that vibration out there into the world, and bringing that power of intention of what it is that you are calling in, what it is that you want to bring into your life, and being very specific about it. I definitely follow the moon cycles. So, utilizing those new moons for times to call things in, and utilizing those full moons to celebrate, and have that ritual time.
absolutely. um so the name Magnetic Moon, does that kind of fall into the same kind of place as that mentality of things? Tell us a little bit about where you transition from the rhythm of your feet to the rhythm of the beat.
Yeah, awesome. So in 2009, when dubstep really hit the scene big, um, that blew my mind. It was kind of like a blend of drum and bass and breaks. At the forefront of the rave scene, it was like house or trance or, drum and bass, break beats, and you really had it split up like that. Look at all the genres now that there are and all the subgenres of that, and then this very future, just wonky bass style that's
Absolutely.
beautiful. It moves all of us on the dance floor. So, dubstep had that extra layer of bass, and it was heavy and it was dark, and I was so into it. And making music mixes for classes, I would always like to have everything in a nice playlist for my classes that I was teaching. So I got into DJing. I got one of the Pioneer controllers that came out. Started mixing my own music for dance classes. So I would have a nice playlist that was seamless, and it was in, a nice warm up into some high energy moves and then into choreography. And then within, I'd say a year, within the first year of me DJing, I was getting booked for some shows in Charleston, South Carolina, which was amazing, and started doing some cool street fest and stuff there. And really starting to get my sound of, dubstep kind of turning into like a type of style. And Magnetic was born. So, using a play on words from Maggie and magnetic, having that, that energy pull, we pull in each other as magnets, having that magnetic field around, and all charged by the power of the moon.
Absolutely. And, the moon cycle is definitely the cycle that we all kind of started on, tribal times, earlier primal times, it's the way that we mapped our lives, the way that we mapped the stars, and I think it's important that we kind of remember nature and the power and the significance that it has on our bodies and following certain ways. And I like that idea, the create new intentions for the new moon and try to, get them accomplished by the full moon, and, kind of keeping yourself on the forward moving path and always trying to, better yourself and keep moving forward,
Yeah, staying in that flow for sure. It was amazing getting into the DJ part of it. I mean, again, the rave culture, living it, been living it, staying in it. So inspired by everyone, before me, DJing and producing music, and just really stayed in it and stayed with it.
Absolutely. That's awesome. So, when and where was your first performance?
The first DJ performance was in Charleston, South Carolina, and they had a really cool street fest, like a block party street fest that I did. There were graffiti artists, there was a break dance battle going on, and other dance troupes that were performing. And they specialized two of us to come up and do a DJ set, so that was my first one there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Charleston has a great scene going on, and what was cool about it is being from Myrtle Beach and then also having roots in Atlanta. I was kind of in the middle, so yeah, Charleston was great to be at for some time as well.
Where do you gain most of your inspiration for your music? Is it from dance? Is it from, specific musical artists? Where do you kind of gather the ethos of, creating your productions?
It's definitely a blend of both, because with studying tribal dance and tribal belly dance and modern and hip hop, really watching the movement that can happen to certain frequencies and certain beats. But yeah, such a strong influence of artists and DJs, producers that I've listened to for so long and have always stayed in that underground zone. Not so much on the radio tip. If it was something on the radio, I wanted it to be remixed, something to just keep it fresh. I always enjoyed digging for the music. We always had to, you had to dig for the good stuff. So, it was just always easy to pop on the radio and listen to that. But my God, you'd hear it so many times that you get so tired of it. And that's just
Absolutely.
what radio does. But yeah, being able to dig for those artists of all those genres of music, and I really came up listening to all of it. The house, the trance, the breakbeat, the drum and bass, and then getting into more stuff now. So
That's awesome. You've been doing those live streams, which has been a really great addition to our quarantine time. Do we have any more live streams to expect from you in the near future?
We do. Next Thursday, which is my birthday, May 7th, we're going to do a special birthday stream for Party Pack Productions, which is based here in Lafayette. So we have monthly events that we do, and right now we're doing 2 a month. So the first and third Thursday of every month, and that is from 4 to 7 p.m., and that's going to be Mountain Time next Thursday. I'm on at 6 p.m. Mountain Time. So that'll be twitch.tv/partypack productions. And I'll be sharing it with Party Keith and Supple, and Real Vision is going to be debuting some awesome visuals during my set on this one.
That sounds like an amazing time. You can definitely count me in on that stream.
Awesome.
Do you have plans to work on maybe like a mixtape or an album, LP, EP, anything like that?
Yes, working on an EP, just released on Subsidy last Tuesday, so a week ago, a collaboration track that I did with Supple titled Heat of Passion. So that is on SoundCloud for Subsidy. They did a really cool compilation featuring some super dope artists and just some future bassy, some drum and bass in there as well. And so that released last Tuesday, and then I started producing music almost 2 years ago, and Slam Academy is where I've been getting my training for that under Kyoto and Alden Groves. We've had some really cool workshops come in with some other artists that are super inspiring. So now that I don't have that twice a week to go in there and grind, I'm grinding on it at home, and some EPs will be coming out soon. Just getting all this online business set up and launching a new website, and yes, be looking forward to some more Magnetik Moon music.
Absolutely. That's really exciting news to hear. And hopefully sometime in the near future you hope to see the live events for the Magnetik Moon as well too.
Yes.
Now, do you ever combine Magnetik Moon and Goldust Tribe together where you're performing music and also dancing at the same time?
Yes, absolutely. And that is always evolving, especially now, with live streams and getting the dancers geared up to do some things with that as well. But yes, that started to make sense, incorporating the dancers, utilizing the choreography that we had together so that I would stay behind the decks, and then when they would come out, I would drop the headphones, and then we would have a synchronized choreography that we would do together. And that has just been so powerful and amazing to share with the girls and have them on the stage with me at the same time. And then, when I'm grinding, mixing beats, letting them come out and have their freestyle and, have that moment to shine as well. So that's been awesome to have that full experience of a show of delivering the music and having the dance simultaneously happening with Magnetik Moon and with Goldust Tribe together.
And I feel like really the landscape for music nowadays is just a really dynamic performance. It's doing more than just performing the music. It's the lights, it's the dancing, it's the overall composition that everybody provides. And overall, that's like the best kind of experiences to have. I mean, most of my favorite artists usually incorporate dancers in some sorts, or they have a really nice production value. But I think that it sets you apart a little bit more because you don't really often see a lot of people who are mixing behind the tables and then come up and start belly dancing, or other types of dancing. So I think it's a really nice, kind of image for yourself. It helps you promote both sides of your passions and kind of your careers and what you want to achieve out of this world.
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm just so blessed to be here and sharing this journey with everybody. It's been amazing just having it all really come together and seeing how to fuse all of these passions together.
Absolutely. And you might have some more up and coming kind of projects coming up from what I've heard, maybe a Dusty Umbrella Productions company, maybe something in the forefront for us.
Yes, working on, having that umbrella to feature and to, be a host site for artists getting out there. Um, you know, there's certainly a demand for it, even now in the virtual world, getting these productions together. So yeah, starting to tap into that for a bit and really get that going. Bringing in the live streams with the dancers as well, and having the visuals, and continuing to create that full experience even through virtual world.
Absolutely. Well, we're really excited to see what comes out of that and all of your future endeavors as well too. I'm really happy that I was able to spend some time with you over video chat to ask you some questions, kind of get a little bit of an idea of your passion. Before we end the series today, I just want to ask you just kind of a few off questions, kind of give the viewers a little bit more behind who you are as a person and, maybe some advice that you might have for them. But I always like to start with things like, the good, the bad, and the funny. So, in your dance career, what's been your best moment, your worst moment, and, your most hilarious moment that you've ever experienced?
One of the best moments for dance was certainly at the Fox Theater, having Goldust Tribe with me and being able to perform a music set and to also have them with me. That was really special on that stage. There really are so many, amazing performances that all hold a place in my heart of that exact time and, who was with me at that moment and just the whole vibe of the place. Um, also Red Rocks, and that was with Katie of Darshan Dance Tribe and with one of our students, with Daisy. So we were able to perform a dance piece, like a modern contemporary ballet piece together for Random
Oh,
Rab.
that's really
And
cool.
the magic that is in those rocks and just those that have been on it before us and just the magic that's there. So that was really, really special to share that with those two girls as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of Random Rap, so I can only imagine what a blast that must have been for you.
Yeah, that was great.
What's a not so fond, memorable moment of your dancing career, if you're willing to
Um,
share?
yeah, okay. So there's always things that happen, whether it's a costume malfunction, belly dancing, you're shaking a lot, and sometimes you might shake your pants off. So that has definitely happened before, and I just kept rolling with it. So that was a funny moment for sure. Um, and there was definitely a time with lighting where it was someone that was doing like a circus lighting or something. It was just strobes and it was really flashy. And I love lasers and I love lights, but there was something that was just going and it started to throw one of my dancers off too. And I turned around and she's kind of spinning in circles. So we just, we always play it off and go in the moment, but it was hard to push through to push through that. Almost had to just kind of close your eyes and go inside and feel where you needed to be on the stage, just getting blinded by a heavy strobe.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a good time, really, at any, perspective of the show.
Yeah, I know. I even watched it back on playback on video. It was like, oh my God, I guess it's hard to watch.
It's okay, we get better, all the bad times lead us to better times, right?
They do. And I've, learned a lesson every time that we've hit the stage and learning to go up and have that conversation with the lighting, go up and have that conversation about the space on the stage, because often we would show up on the stage and there's instruments everywhere and there's chords everywhere. And we will always adapt and make do, but, to give it that full performance and feel really comfortable in the space, all those things have to be tended to first. So definitely making that happen since then.
Absolutely. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, as they say.
Ah, nailed it.
What's some advice that you may have for some of our viewers to help them kind of find, chase, and really identify their passions in life and kind of try to make things happen of the things that they want?
Well, I feel like everyone has, something innately in them. It sometimes can just be clouded by things, or, there could be past judgments or preconceived notions of something that maybe you feel like, you don't have that motivation to go for it. But, you certainly do. This life is what we make of it. We are living the reality, we are living the dream. So when you find that, you feel like shit is just exploding at you every which direction, take that pause and stop and see why, because usually it's something that you're doing in your day-to-day life that it's not meshing with, and that's why it's coming at you like that. It's trying the universe is sending you a signal, a direct signal when it's coming at you with just fire like that, just explosions. And that reminder to sit with yourself and find that. And if nothing feels like it's sparking, just ask for that. Ask for that clear channel to be given to you, as to what your next step is in life and what is that path. And like we were talking about, the power of intention. I mean, I really feel like something is in everyone that they want to do more of, and just being specific about it and calling it in and seeing it, visualizing it, and knowing that you can make a plan to make all those things happen. It doesn't always have to be in the creative arts. It can be in so many different things. But no matter what we do, we should always do it with passion. Even that 9 to 5 job that maybe somebody hates, finding something in it that you do love, so that you're always doing everything with passion.
Absolutely. Some great words of wisdom. We appreciate
Thank
your
you.
time with us, Maggie. We look forward to your live stream coming up next Thursday on May 7th. You said between 4 and 7 p.m., correct?
Yes, it starts at 4, goes till 7, and I'll be on at 6.
All right, absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, viewers. We'll see you next time.